Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is Monday. It is the first day of the week to kick things off, to set the course, to get that right mindset. And I cannot think of any better time than this week to get in the right mindset. Obviously, it is coronavirus craziness. And a lot of it being valid. I don't want to say that it's I don't want to say craziness on the aspect of some of the people out there that are like, oh, this is just a lot of hype, hoax, whatever it is. It is valid. It is a very valid threat. It is a very valid problem. But that being said, how do we deal with crisis? How do we deal with anxiety? How do we deal with adversity? And it's no different than anything else that we ever encounter. So, what do we want to talk about on this Monday? We want to talk about a couple of things. Number one, we want to talk about calm in the face of chaos. So right now, you are going to be encountering all this hype, all this uncertainty, all this. There's a lot of things we just don't know. And there's a lot of active engagement by the government on all levels, from the federal down to the state, down to the local, who are trying to do everything they can to minimize the impact of this virus. And all of us as American citizens should be doing the same thing. We should be smart. We should be taking a look at the information they're putting out. But number one of the biggest things we can do is stay calm in the midst of chaos. I talk about this in the new book, Overcome. I mean, how leaders should not exhibit high signs of emotional distress. I mean, we need to stay calm, So even though you may be feeling some of that anxiety, you need to set the example. You need to set the example for your neighbors. You need to set the example for your coworkers. You need to set the example for your family. So present people with facts, present people with a plan, and stay calm. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. I watch some of the things that are going on the news, people that are beating each other up over paper products. I mean, that's mind-blowing to me. But it also, being proactive instead of reactive, one of the first things that I look at is, my God, if we ever reach a point in society where there really was a breakdown, I mean, that is just a tiny microcosm of, what could come. So anyways, take those experiences, put all those on the back burner, and we learn from them. But the biggest thing is calm in the face of chaos. Number two, control what you can control. And this is something we've talked about often on Monday Mustard, but right now there are some things that are far beyond our control. You can't control some of the impacts of what's going on. I know that there's a lot of people out there that their work has been impacted. My work has been definitely impacted. March and April were on par to be one of my most successful months for getting out there and delivering my message with companies and teams. And I have had virtually every single event canceled. So, what's the bad news? Well, the bad news is obviously for the short term, I lose all that income. Hopefully we will recover that. What's the good news? Well, the good news is I look at what can I control? I can control my mindset. I can control, okay, hey, let's look further down the road. This may not come right now, but in the short term, there are other things that I can work on. I can work on new content. I can work on new online courses. I'm looking at maybe I do a webinar on mindset and positivity in the face of negativity, in the face of crisis. These are all things that I can do. These are things that I can control. So that is a critical thing. And remember, positivity in the face of negativity, that is something you can control. You don't know what the future of all of this holds, but so many people are losing their minds over things that A, they can't control, and B, that they don't know. We don't know how all of this is going to unfold. So once again, calm in the face of chaos. Number two, control what you can control, which is your specific environment around you. So that being said, I've talked to a lot of my friends. I know that some of you may have seen that I posted on the Overcome Army page an article. Several doctors got together and talked about the real threat of the coronavirus and things that people should think about. So, hygiene, the social distancing, all these different things. So those are things that you can control, and I would highly recommend you do that. For us, in the Redman household, I've made the decision that starting later this afternoon, we have a few things that we have to wrap up that were already done where we've got to go out. But after that, we're not going to go out anymore. We're going to isolate in our own home for a while just to allow this thing to develop. And the reality is this. I have a lot of people that are saying to me, well, I'm going to continue to do what I do because I'm low risk and all this a bunch of hype. Well, I've talked to quite a few doctor friends, including doctor friends. We actually had Dr. Gabrielle Lyon on the show, or on the Overcome and Conquer show and on the Overcome Army with us. And she told me this is legit. It is a legit thing. Up in New York, obviously, they have the highest number of the coronavirus cases. She actually has patients who have contracted it. She has patients' parents who are in really bad shape. So here's where I want you to think bigger than yourself. In the Pentagon and Peak Performance model, this is going to be something that is test various areas of the Pentagon and Peak Performance. It's going to test mental leadership. It's going to test emotional leadership. It's going to test your social leadership, and it's going to test your spiritual leadership. And I want you to think about spiritual leadership. I want you to think about the impact. So maybe you think to yourself, well, this doesn't really impact me, so I'm going to go about my daily life, and for the time being, I'm going to try and get in as much work as possible. But the problem is, you may be a carrier, or you may actually have it and not even realize it. There have been more and more cases that they're finding with people like this where they had a very, just a touch of it, and it didn't bother them. But the problem is you're carrying it and you can give it to other people. And this thing is highly, highly contagious. They estimate that if you come in contact with other people, you have a pretty high chance its infection rate is basically you're going to give it to 2 more people. So this is what the government's trying to prevent, is this exponential growth. Because if you think about that, if I go out in public and I bump into 5 people, 2 of those people are going to get it. Well, now those people go out, they bump into 5 people. Now 2 of those people. So if you think about that exponentially, think how fast that blows up. So let me put it to you in tactical terms, because that's what I understand. So and I pulled out my trusty rifle to give this demonstration. So when we were training, and even when we were doing real world missions, and I will admit, I never did a real world hostage rescue. We did some missions where we were looking for some American service members that were missing. And I know, God, it felt like the most important mission of my life. But training for a hostage rescue, one of the biggest things we have to understand, and the biggest things at all time, is the impact of where is my bullet going? Where are my bullets going? If I am shooting and I'm trying to hit the enemy, what's behind him? In hostage rescue, if the hostage is back there and there's an enemy in front of them and I shoot through that enemy, it's going to hit the hostage. That's definitely not what I want. Or what's behind this wall? Shot placement. So I want you to think about this in the aspect of this virus. If you're carrying it around, maybe it's not impacting you. Maybe you're saving that hostage, but who are you hitting in the background? Who are you carrying that on? One of the other things we had was, don't throw grenades in a hostage rescue because you don't know where that hostage is. Same thing, this is a similar context. If you're out there and, you are the grenade, if you have coronavirus, and if there are people out there that are high risk and hey, my son is high risk, with some of the things that, he has a hole in his heart. So I got to be careful. I got to watch out. How do we do this? How do we minimize this in our household? So for you, if you're out there and you're just out and about, you're like a grenade. It may not impact you, but you could potentially kill the hostage. So anyways, those are some tactical examples that I'm just giving from my background, things that I thought about in the case with this. So the bottom line is control what you can control. I know for many of us, it's going to impact us financially, and that's a hard thing for right now. But, in the short term, I've got food, You know, I mean, we all have power. We have everything that's going on. I mean, I wouldn't think about, the government's going to do a good job. They're trying to minimize the spread of this. So we want to stay calm. We want to control what we can. We don't want to make decisions based off information that we don't have. So I think the best thing to do is, the last thing we have is we got to let the battlefield develop. So if we're staying calm in the face of chaos, and we are controlling what we can, that last component is let the battlefield develop. So that's what we're doing. Redman home, we're going to self-isolate over the next week. I'm going to watch the news and I'm just going to watch how this develops. And I hope that we achieve what the government is trying to do and that a lot of countries did not do. They got behind this thing, whereas we want to be proactive and get ahead of it and hopefully minimize this outbreak where, it's only weeks and it's not months or even longer that we're fighting this. So anyways, I just want to say thank you to all of you. I will continue to be making my posts, but on this Monday, in the face of all the coronavirus, focus on those three things. Number one, calm. In the face of chaos, set that example for the people around you. Don't spread false rumors that are going to drive anxiety. Only spread facts. So that goes to number two, control what you can. The hygiene, the distancing. If you have the ability to isolate, I highly recommend it, at least for these, for at least a week. And then that's kind of what we're doing. We're reevaluating. I'm having my staff telework. So we're going to have a meeting this afternoon and we're going to talk about what we're doing for this week. And then the last one, let the battlefield develop. Don't make decisions based off information you don't have or rumors or innuendo. At least try and let things develop. Especially, I had great advice from a great leader. He once said, never make a decision until you have to. And that may be with a limited amount of information, but it's better than no information. It's better than making decisions based off rumors. So anyways, guys, that is Monday Muster. Let's see. I got one of my people saying, write your next book. Over this break. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna work on online courses. I'm gonna be working on online courses. I am working on a study guide, or basically a interactive course that goes with the Overcome book itself. That's something I've been recording videos for, so that'll be the next course. And then I'm working on a course for young men who are interested in becoming SEALs. I'm providing them advice, and it would work for any special operations unit, any high-level training. But that's some of the things that I'm going to be working on during this break. So anyways, guys, much love to all of you. Get out there, stay calm, control what you can, let the battlefield develop. All right, it's Jay Redman, Overcome Army. Get off the X, lead always. Let's overcome. I'm out.